And on today's Nightmare Field adventure, we're diving back into our autograph collection, this time around to deal with any and everything related to music. From vinyls, CDs, Blu-rays, DVDs, pops, today I'm going to be showing off that part of our collection. I really hope you guys enjoy, and stay tuned to the end for a special performance I recorded years ago to an item related right behind me that I'm going to be showing off today. So with all that being said, let's get right into that collection. Alright, we have the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot soundtrack on vinyl, and I have it signed by Jason Lee, who played Brody. Hopefully I can get more people on it over time, but look at this album. Solid green, and you get Chronic Con badge and a poster inside. So needless to say, this was definitely worth the 20 bucks I paid for it, and like I said, hopefully I can get more people signed. Next we have Ice Nine Kills Welcome to Horrorwood on vinyl. We picked this up, I think, when they were doing their Trinity of Terror tour. It was actually the first time we'd ever seen them live. So we picked this up at the merch stand. It's got 4 signatures on it from the band. One of them, I think, is Spencer's. And you can see they signed it in Sharpie, so I've had it for like going on 4 years now, and it's kind of faded. But there is a lot to go into what this vinyl has. Double vinyl. Huge Ice Nine Kills fan. And you'll see coming up how much of an Ice Nine Kills fan I actually am. But yeah, that's the band. Alright, so next we have another Ice Nine Kills album on vinyl, The Silver Scream. This one we took to lead singer Spencer the second time we were at Horror Hound, and we asked him to write a song lyric from his favorite song off this album, which he picked It Is the End. So he wrote da 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 da, which he's used that again recently in the song that they did for Terrifier. But I had a blast this time around meeting him, and I absolutely, this probably might be my favorite one of theirs. Look at this. Love this album. So, yep. Another Ice Nine Kills album signed. Hopefully I'll get all of them signed. I do own all of their albums on vinyl, so it'll be a project, but as of right now, this is the favorite one I do have signed by them. Alright, next is 30 Seconds to Mars, signed vinyl. 30 Seconds to Mars is one of my favorite bands, and I have always wanted to see them live, and I got the chance to do so last year when they were here in Nashville. And they were selling these, I think they only had 60 of them, at one of the merch booths outside, and it's signed by Jared Leto and his brother Shannon. And here's a look at it. I also love the way this album looks. Kind of like a Nickelodeon orange. But I also got to, I think I have a video out of it, of how that concert went, how amazing it was, and definitely worth waiting and finally being able to see them. They did a killer show, well worth the wait, well worth the price of this album, and at the end of the day I can say I have Jared Leto's autograph. Alright, next is the Forrest Gump soundtrack on vinyl. I took it and had it signed by Hannah Hall, who played young Jenny in it. And I know of my accent, I sound very close to Forrest Gump. No one has to remind me of that. However, as a Southerner, Forrest Gump, especially coming from Alabama, this is a staple film. It's not just a classic everywhere else, it's a huge classic in Alabama alone. But never thought I would own the vinyl, nevertheless have someone from the cast sign it. So maybe over time I can get more people on it. I really don't know who, but super proud of it. And next up is Hello Mary Lou, Prom Night 2 on vinyl. And it's signed by Lisa Setrich. Probably said that last name wrong, forgive me. But she's a star of the film, and I absolutely love this movie. I think it's highly underrated. People write it off because they think it's a prom night sequel, and it's really not. It's just a title. I think it stands on its own. But she wrote her catchphrase from the film, "See you later, alligator, Mary Lou Maloney." So this is one that I am super proud to own. I love everything about this vinyl, and the fact that it's signed by the star of the film. You see slipcover of her in flames from the beginning. Then you open it up. It's so cool. So definitely want to get the other star of this film on here, Michael Ironside, and he's still doing cons, so one day I'll get him on this. Y'all watch me struggle with this vinyl. But this is actually the first thing I see when I look at my music collection. That's how proud I am of how it looks, to have her on it and the catchphrase. Absolute one of my vinyl holy grails. Alright, these next few you might have already seen in my previous video from the 90s cruise, but nevertheless, this is the Best of Everclear on vinyl, and I had the entire band sign it. And again, I absolutely love the way they sign this. Each one of them signing to who they are, big in silver, legible across the room, has all of their big hits on it, and the sad face through the tie-dyed looking album. So again, I didn't even have to give them direction on how to sign it, where to sign it. They just immediately, they've been around for decades, so they knew how to sign, and they were nothing but a pleasure to meet. Alright, next up is Blues Traveler, Traveler's Blues, signed by the band. This is also one that I brought to get signed on the 90s cruise by them. You can see it in a previous video, the interaction, all the band members signing it. But I never in my wildest dreams thought I would meet Blues Traveler, let alone have an album signed by them. Again, super friendly, great to meet. The entire band, I think, lives here in Nashville, so there's a chance I'll see them out and about. But nevertheless, great piece. Love it. Love them. And thank you guys for signing it. Alright, and my last vinyl that I have signed is Lit, A Place in the Sun. And this is another, to me, is a holy grail because I grew up on this album. I wore this album out as a kid, and I did not, they had these pre-signed and available on the ship. I didn't know that. I went out and bought this vinyl and brought it with me to have signed. So this is not pre-bought. This was taken to every member and they signed it. So, love it. And if you know the songs, you know what I'm talking about. They were great to meet. Got to spend a lot of time with them on the ship. A couple of them I know live here in Nashville as well, because that's just where everybody lives now. So maybe I'll run into them again and be able to say hi and thank you for signing this. But moving on to the next one. So I just got all of this in a frame, and normally I would take it out like I have the other vinyls that I have framed, but it took me so long to get this to sit the way I wanted it to. I'm not taking it out again, so bear with me. So this is what we got done recently on the 90s cruise. I took the Scream 2 soundtrack and had Everclear sign it, Lisa Loeb on my Friends Again soundtrack, and I apologize for the glare. And then I had Fastball sign An American Werewolf in Paris. Hopefully I can get more on both of these over time. But right behind it is the actual set list for Blues Traveler on the ship, and then, you know, our badges. But that's 3 albums right there. I just too lazy to take it out. Don't want to fight with it again. But it's just my little album collage CDs signed. Alright, next will be Empire Records on Blu-ray signed by Gin Blossoms. So, I've always been a huge fan of Gin Blossoms, and this is one of my favorite movies of all time. They did the main song for the soundtrack, and if anybody has that soundtrack on vinyl, you are sitting on a gold mine. I couldn't find it less than $500. That's why they are on the Blu-ray. But super excited to have them on here. They were nothing but a pleasure to meet. So kind, so genuine, sign anything you want. And I know I saw some cosplay of this on the ship, but I don't know, it seemed like I was the only one that brought anything of Empire Records to them to have signed. So, super proud of this piece. Love this movie so much. Even thinking about adding more of the cast on here over time. Ethan Embry definitely will be on here at some point. Alright, on to the next one. Next up is That Thing You Do, signed by Jonathan, who played Jimmy, the lead singer. So I've always had a guilty pleasure for this film. I think it's the only one that Tom Hanks ever directed. But over time, I will be adding more people to it. Again, at some point, I'm hoping to run into Ethan Embry and get him to sign it. But the fact that I have one signature on this, growing up with this film, is exciting enough. On to the next one. Alright, last of my movies signed by a band for anything music related is Titan AE on DVD, signed by Lit. You might have seen this done recently in my previous video on the 90s cruise, but they did a song called Over My Head for this that I have loved ever since I was introduced to it. And this movie is highly underrated. Everyone should be watching it. It bombed when it came out, unfortunately, and that's why many people don't really know about it. And for those of you that don't know, as you see, I did bring this with me on the cruise, but during the concert when they sung the song from this, I was waving it through the air and got noticed by the band for it. Because you gotta do something to stick out in a crowd. Gotta do something to make them remember you. And they did. When I brought it to them, they were like, hey, you were the guy waving that around. And I was like, well, I love this movie and I love you guys. They appreciated that. But yeah, Titan AE, signed by the band Lit. Alright, next up is one that I cannot believe I have. So, this is the Bacon Brothers, signed by Kevin Bacon and his brother. About almost 4 years ago, I got to see them perform front row at City Winery here in Nashville. And I still have a bunch of footage of that night and how close we were, and Kevin like in my face. And at the end of this video, stay tuned and I'll show you a classic song that he closed the night out with. I think you guys are really going to appreciate it. Probably going to get a copyright, but we'll see. Nevertheless, Cannot believe I have Kevin Bacon's signature on something. It is super cool. He's such a sweet man. Such a sweet man. Alright, next up we have the Tales from the Crypt Christmas album signed by John Cruiser, the Crypt Keeper. So, a little bit about me as far as how I do signatures. I don't like things personalized. Not to me, not to her, not to anybody, unless it has some special sentimental value. The way I look at things is, when I'm gone, I want my collection to go to someone that's as much a nerd and fan as I am, so they don't want my name plastered all over it. But there are those rare things like this album that I didn't just have personalized to me, but also to my brother Josh. So this is my dad's album. He bought it when it first came out, and I have had it since the 90s when it came out. And I have wore this out every Christmas, so has my brother. So to be able to meet John and have him sign it was phenomenal. And given that my brother and I love this album so much, I did have it personalized to the two of us. It's one of those things, and I think everyone that does this has a few items that just mean something on a personal level that it's okay to have personalized. And this is an example of one of them in my collection. Alright, again, you might have seen this in the 90s cruise video. So I got this Moon Man pop because there were going to be a couple of MTV VJs on the ship, and I thought, I need something Moon Man to have them sign. And I collect pops, so this was perfect. So this is signed by Downtown Julia Brown and Dave Holmes. So I know I said that about personalizations earlier. As you can see, it says Renee and Jeremy. Don't care. Like, didn't care. I have two MTV VJs on here, and that alone is phenomenal to me. I don't care if this one's personalized. This is just absolutely amazing to me to meet both of them, growing up watching them on MTV when it, was a music channel and not a reality crap hole. But love this piece. Maybe I can add more VJs to it. We are going back on the cruise next year, so maybe they'll announce some different VJs. We'll see. Stay tuned for all that. Alright, I'm just being lazy because I don't want to take things off the wall. But this is the rest of our music autographs. We have Green Day, signed by all three band members. Jonathan actually threw this in, 8x10 in for free, and personalized it to both of us because we brought him this to sign. So that was super cool of him. I really appreciated that. We have our photo op with Spencer Charnas from a couple years back. And we have Scott Pilgrim, the brothers from SNL, the Moon Man pop. And if you are in Tennessee, you gotta have Elvis. Sort of a staple. But just to give you all a clear idea what our music section looks like. Still have these down here to be framed. They're signed. Of course, you have to have the Green Day pops. And then if you come over here, you see what I have framed. I took all these out of the frame just to show you guys so you know how much I love you. But yeah, that's our entire 4-foot music setup. I really hope you guys enjoyed this look, a little behind the scenes of how we set things up in our apartment and what we have signed music wise. Gonna have a longer video on 8x10s and posters because I have a lot of those. But until next time, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. Convention season's kicking off, and we will be at the Nashville Celebrity Con March 1st and 2nd. So stay tuned for that video. Till then, I'll catch you later.